From the AWS console, let's go to SageMaker. Now let's click on SageMaker Studio. If you're launching this for the first time, you'll have to set up the domain. An Amazon SageMaker domain consists of an associated EFS or Elastic File System volume, a list of authorized users, and a variety of security application policies and VPC configurations. It's a one-time activity you or your IT admin needs to perform before you can start using the studio. Also, once the domain is created, make sure you have a user created with the domain with the right permissions. The execution role will determine which S3 buckets or other AWS services are accessible to your user. For me, I have a user called SageMaker Studio user pre-created. So I'm just going to use that to launch the app and start using the studio session. You will land here on the launcher screen when you open SageMaker Studio. Now, there are a lot of components here, but let me talk about a few important ones that will help you get started. First one is Amazon Jumpstart. Here are many challenges getting started with machine learning. Developers who are new to machine learning often learn that importing a ML model from a popular model zoo and getting an API endpoint up and running to deploy the model can be time consuming. Additionally, stringing together different components to launch a working ML application, including API gateway, serverless compute, and object storage, ETL streams, dashboards, and authentication. The end-to-end process of building a solution, including building, training, and deploying a model, and stringing together different components can take months or longer for users new to machine learning. SageMaker Jumpstart helps you easily and quickly bring machine learning applications to market. Solutions can be used out of the box and can be customized for a specific business problem, eliminating the need to train a model and string together different components of an ML application. You can accelerate time to deploy over 150 open source models. These include one-click deployable ML models and algorithms from popular model zoos. You can also get started with just a few clicks and easily bring ML applications to market using pre-built solutions, which are pre-configured with all the necessary AWS services required to launch into production, including a CloudFormation template and reference architecture. Now let's use Terminal to download some labs, which will help us build, train, and deploy an example. I'm going to run the git clone in the system terminal to download the immersion day repository. These labs are a great way to learn SageMaker and its features. I'm also going to post the workshop link in the resources section if you want to continue with the rest of the labs later. To show you around, I'm going to use the XGBoost Direct Marketing SageMaker notebook. When you open the notebook for the first time, or if you're creating a new notebook from scratch from the file menu or by using the plus icon, it will ask you to choose the kernel. We already have a wide list of pre-created kernels to use, including popular frameworks like TensorFlow, MXNet, and PyTorch. In both the variants of CPU and GPU optimized based on the instance you want to use for the notebook. You can also use a custom image based on your pre-installed application and libraries that you might want to use for your teams. For this notebook, I'm just going with the basic data science kernel, which has core data science libraries like pandas and NumPy. While SageMaker is based on the principle of running all the jobs in a decoupled architecture, meaning the notebook should only be used for development, actual processing or training jobs are triggered and executed outside the notebook in their own feature space. But sometimes you might need a bigger instance type temporarily to analyze something or test a small job. For this, you can change the notebook instance type of the notebook on the fly using the instance type selector from the top menu. The best part is that it can change the underlying instance type without a restart. To save us time, I'm not going to go and execute each cell. You can do this at your own convenience. This example uses an XGBoost model for a supervised learning problem where we are trying to classify if a customer is likely to engage with a specific offer based on the historical data. So in the beginning, we do a bit of initialization, pulling our sample marketing dataset and a bit of feature engineering to clean up the data. Let's look at launching a training job once you're all set with the data and have pushed it to S3. Now, S3 is a preferred data store for all kinds of jobs in SageMaker. This is because it's decoupled and distributed in nature for running distributed jobs. Multiple containers need access to this data in parallel. And changing the parallelization here is as simple as changing the number of instances. You can also select the type of instance you want to run the training job on based on the algorithm. Finally, call the .fit method to launch the job after setting the hyperparameters. Once the model is trained, you can deploy it as a real-time endpoint with the .deploy method. It autoscales based on your traffic patterns. In more advanced use cases, SageMaker also offers inference chaining and pipelining capabilities. Moreover, you can have different variants of the same model deployed in production for A/B testing. Finally, I want to show you a unique capability of SageMaker. It comes in really handy during the tuning process. Obviously, we all know it's almost impossible to get the model right the first go. And we need to go through loops in terms of feature engineering and hyperparameter tuning before we can meet the business KPI thresholds to productionalize any of our models. In SageMaker, you can utilize the auto tuning feature to get the best performing variant of your model based on the parameter ranges you provide. Now that you've gotten a glimpse of the entire ML process through this example, let me show you a neat collaborative feature which comes in handy while working in a team. At any point in time, if you want to share your work with your colleagues, you can create and share a snapshot link. SageMaker will save in-point time copy of your work and let your teammates access it with all the kernel installations intact. Now, I didn't cover a lot of other important features like data wrangler, pipelines, or feature store. Please feel free to complete the workshop and other training content to learn more about this. All right, let's jump to the presentation. Hope this short demo was helpful and hope it gets you started quickly with SageMaker Studio.